In 1955, more than half of the world's population was represented at a historic gathering in Bandung, Indonesia. Delegates from African countries like Egypt, Sudan, Afghanistan, to Asian nations such as Japan, India, Vietnam, Philippines, and many more other countries. So, what is actually happened in Bandung that drew representatives from so many countries? Why did they come to Bandung?
This is the first intercontinental conference of colored peoples, so-called colored peoples, in the history of mankind.
As you can see the video before, it was our Mr. President, Mr. Sukarno. Mr. Sukarno doing a speech at Bandung, which is more precisely in Merdeka Building.
Yes, that's right. That was the opening speech by President Sukarno for Asia-Africa Conference. At that time, Bandung became the center of the world's attention, and many delegates from across Asia and Africa countries gathered in here. They inspired by the same vision that President Sukarno expressed so passionately in his speech.
So in this video guys, we're gonna talk about the ASEAN African Conference. Before we talk about it, let's talk about the two conference before that was played an important the health of the ASEAN African Conference. First, the Colombo Conference. Colombo Conference was held because of the effect of the Cold War between the Western Bloc, the US, and the Eastern Bloc, Soviet Union. Of course, this condition was worrying for many countries, especially ASEAN African countries like us. Because of that, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka invited our Prime Minister at the time, Mr. Ali Sastramidjojo, to join a conference that consists of 5 countries: Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Burma, India, and Pakistan. From this conference, the idea from Indonesia to organize the ASEAN African Conference was appeared that day.
And after that, the 5 prime ministers held a meeting in Bogor, called as Bogor Conference. And from this conference, they successfully agreed the agenda, the objective, and the country that will be invited to the Asia-Africa Conference. Indonesia was said to be the host of this conference that will be held at the end of April 1955.
President Sukarno picked Bandung as the venue for ASEAN African Conference. The 2 important buildings was picked. First, Dana Pension Building and the Concordia Building. President Sukarno renamed this place to reflect the spirit of the conference. The Dana Pension Building was renamed to Triwarna Building, and the second building, Concordia Building, was renamed to Merdeka Building. And last but not least, Raya Timur Street was renamed to ASEAN African Street.
On January 15, 1955, the invitation for this conference was sent to 25 countries, and from all of that country, just one country that declined the invitation because of the conflict with the former colonizer. And then on April 18, 1955, the delegates from Asia and Africa countries was gathered in Bandung. It was the day when Asia-Africa Conference was held.
Like Saudi Arabia, Burma, Ceylon, Ethiopia, Philippines, Iraq, Iran,
Hey,
Laos.
stop! That's too many if you mention them all.
Yeah, you're right. You guys can see the list, guys.
Okay, let's next. So this conference is very historical, guys. Even the journey of delegates from hotel to Merdeka Building was known as the Historic Walks or the Bandung Walks. This conference will start with a speech of President Sukarno, as we heard at the beginning of the video, entitled "Let New Asia and a New Africa Be Born," and then continue with sessions that last for 1 week, which was until April 24.
The conference was divided into 2 meetings. First, the open meeting, and the second one is the closed meeting. The open meeting was attended by all delegates. Meanwhile, closed meeting are committee-only meetings. Committee-only mean the political committee that consists of all the heads of delegation and their advisors. The economic and cultural committees consist of members of the delegation.
The Asia Africa Conference was ended with the production of several decisions in the form of Dasasila Bandung, which was contained 1. Respect human rights and abide by the purpose and principles of UN Charter. 2. Respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries. 3. Recognize the equality of all races and the equality of all nations, large and small, and etc. You can read the rest in here, guys.
The ASEAN African Conference generated a spirit of solidarity among ASEAN African countries, both in dealing with international and regional issues. The spirit of Bandung, with its declaration of principle, changed the world view on international relations. Bandung had given the third word or non-bloc to counter the first word of Washington and the second word of Moscow. This conference has changed the United Nations structure. It was no longer an exclusively Eastern Forum or Western Forum. That's all from us. Hope you enjoy this video, and we hope we get the best score.
Yes,
Please.
Mr. Drew.
Yes, we beg to you to get a good score because
Yeah.
we using English language that was not our first language.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you.
for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.